I don't want to waste your time, so there won't be an intro. This is another video where I try to explain my thoughts in-game. So let's begin. Right off the bat, our operator selection here isn't optimal. I definitely should have switched to either Hibana or Termite, because if they are in Garage, you're really screwed if you don't have a hard breacher. Anyways, they are in Kitchen, but that's, besides the point. So during the prep phase, I try to keep my drone as safe as possible, which is why I only drive around the outside of the map. And I basically try to hear, I try to locate the objective by hearing the sound instead of seeing the things. This is a good moment to talk about how I approach attacking in general. I think the best and most effective way to get good at being an attacker is by finding something that works and then doing this same thing over and over again, so you learn all the intricacies of playing this position. Here on Chalet, for me, it's taking control of K9. And if you don't know what K9 is this lobby balcony where my drone is currently in front of. Because this balcony is a really important position on Chalet because it allows you to cut off most of the rotations on the map. But for some reason, my random teammates don't seem to value it as highly as I do, so I take control of it myself, even though the engagement distances aren't exactly favorable for Bark, but it's not the end of the world. Now let's get to the interesting part. The important thing here is that I only drone offers and nothing else. That is because information is really only useful if you can act on it. There would be no point in droning further ahead because any information that I gathered would be outdated by the time that I could act on it. This play would have been even better if I punched the office door before I droned for the second time, because it would allow me to act on the information faster. And I think that's a really important concept when it comes to ranked, and especially to solo queue, where you can't really rely on your teammates. Anyways, the reason I decide to make an aggressive play here is, again, because I'm playing solo queue. I could have waited for a teammate to drone him for a second time, or for a teammate to push him from master bedroom, but in solo queue there's really no guarantee that that will happen. So sometimes you have to take matters into your own hands. And it's not like the odds were stacked against me. In fact, I'd even say that I was favored in the situation because I can pre-fire him through the wall while he really can't. But in a competitive game, I wouldn't have pushed him here because, well, I'm Buck and I can't really die that early. Right after I kill Bandit, I'm immediately ready for any defender trying to refrag Bandit. Right now, I try to think about what the enemy team is doing and where they're most likely to be. If we assume a standard setup, then there are two roamers on the top floor, two guys objective, and one guy roaming somewhere else. So my focus right now is on the second upstairs roamer, and I thought that he will most likely be in library, fireplace stairs, or library stairs. The reason for that is that roamers usually spread out, and since I killed Bandit on the right side of the map, the second roamer is, I think, more likely to be on the left side of the map. And another reason why he might be there is because he knows that I am in office. And the fireplace area offers a lot of great pixel angles to hold an angle on the office door. And these pixel angles are the reason why I punched this window first. Just to prove my point, here's a clip of how it's supposed to look like. There's an enemy playing on the fireplace stairs, as you can see from the tracers. He decides to run up, and I kill him. In this case, my prediction wasn't correct, but I still think it's a correct play because if we think in terms of averages, I think I would have gotten a kill here. Now, the next stage of the plan is to open up the floor, but before that I need to discourage any kind of flanking attempts, which is why I destroy both cameras and fireplace. My timing here was a bit lucky, but now you see me make two mistakes. The first one is reloading immediately after I killed Ella because I wasn't ready for a refract that way. And the second one is droning in office. They have a Valkyrie, and if she was still on spot and had a C4, I might just die at this point, and this is just an unnecessary risk. Opening these spots is kinda standard, but I want you to pay attention to the sequence in which I open the spots, because that will be important later. If you have any questions about bug in general, I also made a bug guide that I will link in the description. As you can see, I'm always trying to move around because that minimizes the chances that I die from either a C4 from below or from a defender who has tried to flank me. But honestly, I'm playing this a bit too carefree. The enemy team still has Jaeger and Valk left, and both aren't exactly common anchors, so they're probably out to flank me. So all in all, I'm a bit lucky that I don't get shot in the back, but even though it's important to watch your flank, especially in solo queue, it is also important to not be paralyzed by the fear. You picked Buck and you have a job to do, and you aren't helping your team if you watch your own flank for 2 minutes. In some cases, that means that you will die because you will get flanked, but again, you have to think about plays in terms of the average situation, and I think that on average, your win rate will be lower if you just watch your flank the whole time instead of doing your job. Now let's get back to why the sequence of opening holes with Buck is important. And it is because I basically herded this guy into playing that position, because it's the only common position left that has no holes above him. And this might seem like an edge case that only happens once every 10 rounds, but it's actually pretty common, and it works consistently well. The reason I don't shoot is because I don't trust my ability to control Buck's recoil, and he really has no other place to go, so I might as well just nade him. Right after I kill Legion, I hear Valk in lobby, and obviously chasing after her wasn't the right play, but at that time I was just on fire, so I went for it. But you know, that's exactly how 1v4 clutches are born, because I have the diffuser, and if she killed me there, I mean, there is a world in which she clutches that round, so it's definitely not the right play to chase after her. And that's the round. Now, the two most important things that I talked about in this video and that I want you to keep in mind is first, that information is only really useful if you can act on it, and that's why you should only drone your immediate surroundings and not the whole map. And the second thing is to not be paralyzed by the fear of being flanked. I'm not saying that you shouldn't care about your flank at all, but I'm just saying that you don't need to watch your flank all the time, because by that you just waste a lot of time that, especially as Buck, you could have used more effectively. Alright, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something new.